Let us try to understand the trigger. So what is a trigger here? A trigger is the named database object that is associated with a table and that activates when a particular event occurs for the table. So if any DML operation occurs on the table, so let us say I have a one table now. Okay, just consider I have one table. Now this guy is firing a query that may be a DML. You might be knowing DML means what? Insert, update and delete. If this guy is trying to do any insert, any update, any delete on this table, and if you have created some trigger on this, okay, this trigger will automatically fire and do some job. What this trigger will do, it is up to you what the code you have written in between the creation of triggers, right? So I just give you one scenario here, one or two scenario. Like if I insert the marks for the student, say marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4, automatically total will happen. As I insert the record, total will done by someone. Who will do? So you can create a triggers and triggers can do this job. I have given the example of here item and sales. So item I have a quantity on hand and the sales I have a quantity sold, right? So if any quantity is getting sold, then that much quantity should be automatically reduced from my table, right? I mean the item table. So quantity on hand should keep reducing. Who will do this job? So you have to create a trigger. In other words, triggers are automatic execution of SQL command or a store procedure automatically after or before insert, update or delete commands. So whenever any insert happen, it may be before insert or after insert, the trigger will get executed. So we never invoke the triggers. Triggers invoke automatically. Okay. The trigger becomes associated with the table name which must refer to a permanent table. You cannot associate a trigger with a temporary table here or a view. So that is the restrictions with the trigger now. There are similar syntax rules for triggers code as for store procedure. In particular, the code must be introduced with the begin and terminated with the end if it contains more than one command. So all store procedure language elements are available for trigger. However, there are many restrictions as to which SQL command may be used in trigger code. So we can use some of the codes whatever we are having in SQL in a trigger. Okay. So there's the one most important stuff in the trigger is what? There's a two qualifier we are having. What is that? There's a one new qualifier and old qualifier. If we talk about Microsoft SQL Server, there we are having two magic table, inserted and deleted. Okay. But in Oracle and MySQL, we are having the same, like old and new. So there's a two qualifier. What it does, whenever any new insert happen, new record inserted in your table, and if trigger is calling, then all the data of your new record will come to the new qualifier, and you can refer by the new dot column name. Okay. Whenever update happen, so that new data is again coming, right? So that new data will again come to the new qualifier. So in the case of insert and update, this qualifier will hold your new data. Now in case of old, if you are removing some record, okay, then means it is old record you are deleting. So the record which you are deleting, that record will come to the old qualifier and you can do some operations on that. Update, if any update happens, then what happened? New record is getting inserted and old record is getting removed, right? So in this case, in update, both will be used. new or old. But in case of insert, only new. In case of delete, only old. But in case of update, old and new both come. So you may change new dot column name in before insert trigger and before update triggers. Okay. Use case. For example, you can test every update operation to see whether the alter data conform to a particular set of rules. Other possible applications include changes to login and updating variables or columns in other tables. So a lot of uses we are having for the triggers. Now we can see few examples on the triggers. So look at this here. I have one table, create table marks, roll number, M1, M2 and total, right? Insert into marks values. So we are inserting the value here. Look at here. Insert into marks values 1, 90 and 0. I am not doing the total here. Just I say 0. So 0 has been inserted. But it does not happen now. If we are inserting this record, then it should add this 90 plus 90 and then it should make 180. Then add it, right? Insert it. Who will do this job? So let us make one trigger for this purpose. So create trigger, give a name, anything. I just given here T2. Before insert, you have to call on what table? On marks table for each row. There's a two type of triggers again. Generally, it is categorized on the level. We are having one is the row level. Okay. Second is the statement level. So row level, if the trigger is you have to use for each row, means it will work for every rows. I mean, I am just firing a query and that query is affecting 100 of the rows. So for each and every row, the trigger will get called. So that's why we say it is a row level trigger. But let us say if we are firing a query and that query is affecting 100 rows, but only one trigger will get executed. So that is what a statement level trigger. Okay. Now, so that trigger has been created and we are saying for each row begin set. What set? New dot total, because whenever you are inserting this record, this whole value is going where? It can be referred by the new qualifier. So this record will come to the new qualifier and we can refer that. So new dot total, this one equal to what? New dot m1 plus new dot m2. So m1 and m2 both we are adding and we are saying plus. Okay. So this trigger will automatically take this two value from the new qualifier when you are inserting the record, and then it will add it and then insert the record, right? So we are doing before insert. So if you can see this code, 170 is coming, right? See the benefit of creating triggers. So this is one live example. Okay, I just write one code in front of you so that you can understand here.